I remember seeing Kenna for the first time on stage in June 2022 this year. I remember thinking what great potential she had. And it must have been a few days later she messaged me and to see if I had any spaces for coaching. So we set up a call to go through things. And
well, what originally gave me the inspiration is probably seeing my mom compete when I was younger. That was definitely something that sparked it for me. Well, originally when I was younger, or not too much younger, but middle school and high school, I never really had like an idea of what nutrition or fitness was or anything like that, other than seeing my mom, step on stage. And I feel like there's a point for every kid that makes them like grow up a little bit faster. And that for me was being bullied for like the way that I had looked or my weight at a specific time. Like when I was in high school specifically, I had like a few situations that caused me to look at myself differently and, be more insecure over the way I looked. And I think that's what originally fueled like my fitness journey, not necessarily when I started competing. But once I started like seeing progress, something switched mentally for me, and it was kind of just the beginning of me starting to do it for me at a certain point and not for like the validation of others or how people viewed me and how I looked. That wasn't the goal anymore, and it was just to become a healthier and a better version of myself at some point. And I think once I got to that more mature mentality, that's when I decided that I was ready to compete and step on stage in the near future. And so my mom, who had already competed, was able to hook me up with my first coach, whose name is Justin Cordenback, and I love him. He's like a father to me. And I started my bulking phase in September 2021, I believe. And from there, I was able to just really gain a better understanding of what nutrition was and what fitness was. And I feel like although it's definitely tougher mentally than it is physically, it changes you for the better, and I think it makes you just a stronger person in general going through a prep like this. And I loved it because I had amazing people like supporting me the entire time. Not only Justin, my coach, but my mom was there 100% of the time, always making sure that I was good, that I had my meals done. If I was on my way home from the gym and I was just starving, she'd already have my meals ready for me, she was definitely like the biggest help during my prep. And she made it so smooth. It was awesome. She was supposed to come, and then Michael ended up being able to come along with me. My mom just had a few eye surgeries more so. And not only that, but so I got the asparagus. I've been like weirdly on an asparagus kick for like this past week, even though I've eaten it 5 times a day. Some broccoli. In the case, this is because I've been having, I think it's around like 100 grams of asparagus, which is like barely, like, it'll probably just be like these two. That's 100 grams. So I got some rice cakes. I got these ones last time I was in London. Okay, so I have my chicken breast, my nut butter. I don't think I've had nut butter since probably like July or August. This is crazy. I love nut butter. It's honestly like, I haven't had it in so long, it's become a favorite food of mine. I'm like, I might eat this entire bottle. This girl's weird, but you know what? Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I'm proud. My first competition was the Battle of London, and a lot of people ask me actually, like, why did you even compete in London? I mean, you're from California. Well, my best friend and I had already had a plans to travel here. And I was originally supposed to compete in May in San Diego. And I just didn't feel ready. I feel like I needed probably like another couple weeks to a month just for those, the last few weeks of prep, just to feel better, feel more confident. It's never good to go on stage when you're lacking that confidence. And so I ended up just looking up competitions in the UK, and somehow it was less expensive too to compete out here. So that's what I ended up doing. I found GPO very, very randomly. It was just one of the links that I happened to click on, and I was like, okay, I'm doing this one. And so I told my mom about it, and she was like, rolls her eyes. She's like, London, really? I was like, yes, Mom, London. And it, actually, she'll even tell you that it was probably one of the best decisions that we've ever made. Global Physique Organization is probably one of competing for this organization has been the best experience of my life. I absolutely loved it. I think it's great for anyone who is trying to dip their feet in the water and see if they want to continue competing, because after I competed in the Battle of London, it just like fueled this fire, this motivation in me to continue competing. Everybody there was so generous and outgoing, and I've definitely made lifelong friends competing at GPO. And my coach Matt, who is the founder, is amazing. He's awesome. But yeah, I highly recommend competing for this federation, and I think it's very up and coming. I think that everyone, not just in the UK, should be competing in this one. I think it's just amazing. I love it so much. I can't wait to be competing again for my second show there in the Battle of Britain.
Oh yeah, they sound nice. Are you okay to, if people walk past?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through it. Very good. And then just turn around for me, just do your standard poses. Spot on. You can get dressed
So to get the like more of that S shape, do you recommend that I have more of my upper body turned more towards the judges, or have it still kind of like the side a little bit and just face
in perspective? Because what you're showing proportion and balance there from the side. You're not showing your best angle, but they will ask you. They might say do quarter turns. Mm-hmm. So that's when you've got your options to do a side one. So you can do multiple ones, but when you're standing
Right, thank you.
face on and you ask for a front pose, do that one there.
Okay.
So that one's down.
Yes, of course.
Right done. So
Thank
you can take that straight away.
Okay.
And then every 2.5 hours. So 4 now, well, as soon as you can with a bit of water.
Yeah.
So it's
And then
3:44.
food-wise, I'm thinking we could actually just get you a little bit sharper. And
Okay.
fill you with a little bit of food. We could get a little bit more pop. I can't call it like a pop.
Mm-hmm.
You just look a little bit flat slightly. So I was thinking, the way that we could do that, we could push, like say like in your last meal before you go to bed, and I don't mean like at 10 p.m, maybe like about 6 p.m, or a meal around that time. So what time are we on now? So that's only in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours maybe. You could either make something, or you could go out for food if you wanted to, if you prefer to go out, and I could tell you what to eat then at a restaurant, but it depends on what would you rather do.
I get 200 grams of salmon and 250 grams of white rice. Oh, serving size.
Yeah, this is so basically.
All right. I have had a few struggles this prep. One of them being definitely my relationship with food.
You know, it was apparent then that she wasn't in the best state mentally or health-wise. She was a little bit down. She developed a bad relationship with food.
After my first competition, it was very scary for me to go off of what I had been eating for the past 2 months before my first competition, which was strictly egg whites and, broccoli, stuff like that.
So effectively what I'd done was in small steps just start increasing her food, and the thought of increasing the food was quite difficult at first, and she was almost full up on the smallest amount of food, but gradually, as we just kept on pushing our food up and really focusing on the exercises in the gym and working hard in the gym, what we started to see was her weight, even though the food was going up, her weight was starting to come down.
This passion that I have for bodybuilding, while still, growing that better relationship, which can be hard for a lot of bodybuilders to do because your life really revolves around your nutrition, and sometimes it can be scary venturing outside of that. And I mean, my family will tell you I'm very adventurous when it comes to food, but when I am so devoted to something, it almost scares me to go off of that plan. But he's helped me realize it's okay to have things in moderation, and that you don't need to take things that you love out of your daily routine in order to achieve something or have success with something.
Body composition was changing for the better. She was starting to get a better shape, more muscle tone, and over the 5 months, effectively we just kept on pushing food up, kept her energy level started to restore, and she was stronger in the gym, and it all had a positive effect on how she looked and felt. And it wasn't until almost maybe 2 weeks before the last show where we really kind of to start to turn the screw a little bit and enter kind of what you would expect from a prep phase, and that was start to pull some of the calories down, and mainly keep the protein high and pull carbs down, and introduce cardio.
The cardio for this prep has definitely gotten more intense, but it was 30 minutes for a while. I do enjoy cardio. A good 15 to 30 minutes doesn't bother me, but there was a point where I was doing 60 minutes 7 days a week, and I do work, so sometimes after the end of the day is when I would have to get my cardio, and I wouldn't finish until, I don't know, like 10:30 at night, and it was just dreadful. But luckily, I've had people there to hold me accountable, because who knows if I would have done it sometimes without them. My boyfriend, Michael, he's awesome. He has definitely held me accountable when it comes to my cardio.
Ultimately, we had to come up with a plan that was going to make her feel better and recover, restore some of the health issues she'd picked up, recover or repair the relationship with food, and whilst doing that, be able to make her look better for when she got on stage in November, 5 months later.
I'm a professional pill popper, if you know what I mean. I could take all 4 of these at the same time. Oh. super yummy plain chicken breasts. And we're just having this with some veg, and then for my last meal, I'm gonna have some salmon and rice, my favorite ever. It's gonna be like just a treat before we compete. It's gonna have me looking sharper. But that's what Matt says. Might still be careful. My cute little veg. Yeah. It'll do. It was Just broccoli and chicken. And then I get to have my salmon and my rice in a couple hours, so we're good. Like, saving the best for last. Carving up before tomorrow. It's gonna be a good day. So sorry. I really just woke up. It's showday! I'm nervy, just a little bit. The closer it gets, the more nervy I get. But it's fine. We're gonna do good. We're just excited. Yes. I'm competing in the Battle of Britain. I am competing in Bikini Junior. I'm pretty sure that's 23 and under. I'm 20, if you didn't know. I'm having my makeup done, but I am doing my own hair this time. And what else do I have to do before then?
Yeah. So when you walk out on stage, the audience was on the left. This time you're going to walk out with the audience on your right. Yeah.
Okay. And I can still turn and like hit my dominant pose, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about transition size or anything like that. You're over worrying about something that's the least thing to worry about.
Okay.
It's not important. Although you're coming off the different side, it doesn't matter. All you're going to do is walk around, you're still going to smile, and then you're just going to get into what, you could do a full 180 and get into your side. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I usually don't get nervous until right before I step on stage. Who knows, maybe Matt will let me have like a shot or something. But I never really get nervous before until I'm like right before I go on. That's when I'm just kind of like, oh crap, I'm actually about to step on stage right now. I have to say I wish I did practice my posing a little bit more.
That's what you have to do, move your hair so you can see
your back. But I've always brought the sass with me no matter what, so that's not something that I'm worried about.
Keep going, just keep going. And your next competitor on stage is competitor number 21. It's Makenna
Your favourite pose from the rear?
Thank you. The trophy presented to all the way from California. It's competitor number 21. Please. Thank you. Your bikini open. Your pose, please. Second pose.
Okay, thank you, Ronnie.
Okay, lady, if you just go to the back of the stage.
Yeah. Alright, so being coached by Matt, or the physique coach, so far has been absolutely amazing. I really appreciate, I was touching on this earlier, but I do appreciate the that he treats me like a human when, because these preps can be difficult, right? We need to get down to a certain body fat percentage. We need to look a certain way for these preps. But he really does an amazing job at making sure that at the end of the day, we still feel good and we feel alive. And so the way it works is he has us do like daily check-ins. And it doesn't just ask, did you hit your macros? It asks how you're feeling. It asks, if you think that any changes need to be made. He really takes into account what our thoughts are as clients, and that's something that I highly appreciate. My number one thing from Matt is that he takes our feelings into account, how we're feeling physically, mentally, and at the end of the day, if something isn't working out, he's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure that we still have success and that we still feel good as his client. So that's something that I definitely appreciate.
It's finally, well, I don't want to say finally, it's been an amazing day, but it is the end of the day, and I placed second in Bikini Open, first in Bikini Junior, and it has been amazing, and I'm ready for my sushi. Babe, are you ready for sushi? I was ready for sushi.
I'm ready for some good old sushi.
I'm ready for sushi and for a good night's sleep, and I'm ready to hit the gym after this sushi. Yeah.
So all in all, great result. Brilliant.